What's up, YouTube? And today I'm looking like something straight out of Metal Gear Solid. I'm wearing that all gray, all black hoodie. Um, and as you can tell, my hair looking as long and as thick as ever. Don't want to stay up straight, it's all messy. Anyways, let's get on to the reason why I started this video. Aside from my hair, of course. Over here dangling in my face. But the real reason I started today's video is to give you guys the next installation of book review. Today's book that we'll be reviewing is Stephen King's 4th edition to the Dark Tower series, or as the book is properly and formally known as, The Song of Susannah. Now, for many of you familiar with Stephen King's writing and his phenomenal work ethic in the literature world, especially in terms of writing horror and fiction, The Song of Susannah should be a very familiar title to you. The book covers the events of Book 3 in the Dark Tower series and follows, obviously, the character Susannah in the series after her abduction. Susannah gets abducted in the previous book. I believe it's called Wolves of Talcata. She creates a melodic sound or voice and sings a very mysterious song that Roland and the others get tied into in terms of tracking her down and figuring out where they are. Where she is. After being located from her abduction, she regroups with Roland, the gunslinger, and their group in an attempt to locate the Dark Tower and the man in the black coat. If you've seen Stephen King's Dark Tower movie a few years ago, I'm assuming not many of you did, because that movie was actually very well below par compared to all Stephen King's other books and their movie adaptations, such as It Parts 1 and 2 and Pet Sematary. You would know exactly the events that are taking place in this book. Being the type of crafty, masterful book and wordsmith Stephen King is, he has a knack for hyping up the plot, but even more, writing himself into his own books. Whether it be a character who plays an author named Todd, or just actually writing himself as himself in the book, such as in here, there are multiple references to Stephen King himself that he adds in the book, such as the title of... There's a quote in this book that reads, "There's an author named Stephen King who lives in Derry, Maine, and is famously huge for writing books such as The Shining and Salem's Lot," which gets referenced a lot in this book, and Pet Sematary. However, Roland says that he's never read any of his books. So something as simple as that write-in on himself is very common in a lot of Stephen King books. He references The Shining multiple times in the book It, and so that makes the book very fascinating. The hook's pretty interesting with the concept of constantly being on the ride trying to locate Susannah until they actually do, with the idea of also just the very concept of the journey itself, similar to how Lord of the Rings was written by J.R.R. Tolkien. It's not the idea of, getting there. It's the journey itself that matters. Eventually, the book ties into a typical Stephen King ending where, obviously it either leaves you on a cliffhanger for the sequel to continue the journey, or it'll end with some mundane, monotonous way of killing off the bad guy or the monster. In this case, the bad guy. But since the series doesn't end on the fourth book, it ends on a cliffhanger and not in the best way. Stephen King's known for not knowing how to write endings, and he even states that in this book, that as a writer, he states that all of his books have horrible endings because he has no way how to wrap everything up. But overall, I'd say that the book itself was maybe, I'd say a 4.5 out of 5. I've seen him write better. I've had better. Pet Sematary, It, Salem's Lot, and Finders Keepers. Finders Keepers and Salem's Lot especially, those two had pretty decent endings. They weren't the best, but they were probably the best ones out there that I know that are King books. But anyways, if you guys read this book before, please leave a comment, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, please click that like button and subscribe to my channel. I forgot to mention this video is kid friendly, so feel free to check it out and share it with your friends. Share it at school, share it at home. Every bit helps my channel. So I would love to hear what your thoughts are on the book if you read it, and tell me, do you think this is one of Stephen King's better books or not? I personally feel like he could have done better with this book, but maybe that's just me. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next book review. With school starting on Monday, I most likely will be a bit slow on YouTube videos for a while, but as always, I'm on the verge of graduating, so with work and whatnot, YouTube's going to be a nighttime thing for me. But anyways, I'll make it work. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side, and peace.